Hello and welcome to State of Events. I'm Xavier Galindo.
And I'm Sapana Gilsrup. Thanks for joining us.
A racist video has a few members of Sigma Alpha Epsilon facing some possible expulsion from the University of Oklahoma. Our reporter Christian Franklin is here to tell us why. Christian?
Thank you, Xavier. Last week, many people were outraged. The University of Oklahoma's fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, is no longer on campus. A video that shows the members of the fraternity chanting a racial slur has caused quite a bit of backlash. In the video, you can hear them make extreme derogatory statements. Within hours of the video going viral, the president of OU gave the students 24 hours to leave the frat house.
And as they pack their bags, I hope they think long and hard about what they've done.
SAE is one of the largest fraternities in the country. It has initiated more than 325,000 members and 159 years on college campuses. Now, the national chapter released a statement shortly after the video was posted saying, quote, "We apologize for the unacceptable and racist behavior of the individuals in the video, and we are disgusted that any member would act in such a way. We are hopeful that we can reestablish the Oklahoma Kappa chapter at some point in the future with a group of men who exemplify our beliefs and who serves as leaders on campus and in the community." I spoke with Sabrina Gordon, a student at OU, and here's what she had to say.
Well, I feel like a lot of the cases that involved equality, discrimination, or separate but equal, going back to getting rid of racism, getting rid of slavery, I feel like everything, the root of it, it wasn't accomplished. Racism is taught at home, so the root is where you have to start fixing things.
Students at OU joined together Monday to protest. Alongside them was the president, David Boren. The university is continuing their investigation that could result in expulsion. However, the members of the fraternity do have basic rights, and expulsion could possibly hinder their freedom of speech. I'm Christian Franklin for State of Events. Back to you, Sapana.
St. Louis County Police arrested a suspect in connection with the shooting of 2 police officers in Ferguson last week. The suspect is 20-year-old Jeffrey Williams. He faces multiple charges, including assault. Williams admitted to firing the shots, but says he was arguing with someone else and did not mean to hit the officers. The officers were shot last Thursday during a demonstration that followed the resignation of the Ferguson police chief. The Ferguson Police Department has been under investigation after one of its officers shot and killed an unarmed African-American man in August.
San Francisco police are beginning a pilot program to distribute a drug that reverses the effects of opioid drugs. Police say that the program will help officers save their life in overdose cases. Naloxone, marketed under the trade name Narcan, reverses the depression of central nervous system. The side effects are, it may cause symptoms of opioid withdrawal. The program is beginning with Metro Division officers who work in downtown areas of San Francisco. Police have been learning to identify opioid overdoses and administer the drug in the past few months.
Several people are addicted to their phones, and we are now seeing the results from people bending their neck. Reporter Christy Reno has the story. Christy?
Thanks, Sapana. That phone of yours may actually be a pain in your neck. By looking down as such can create extra stress on your neck. This is causing problems for people. People are starting to come into doctor's appointments with a new unusual pain. It starts off with a headache and some neck pain. You may have what doctors are calling as text neck. It ends up the posture of sitting hunched over texting is what causes the pain. Dr. Christian Bricks explains how the weight of your head can cause the neck problems.
Research shows that for every inch your head comes forward from its normal position, we actually increase the force on our neck by 10 pounds. So for young people, 15, 16 years old, who are 2 inches forward, that could be like 20 pounds of extra pressure on your neck.
Another tip is to lift your neck up. This will create less stress on the neck. Or maybe just put your phone down for a few moments. Just a thought. Reporting live in the newsroom for State of Events, I'm Christy Reno. Back to you.
NASA is planning to unlock another mystery within the next 2 years. 4 identical spacecrafts were launched into orbit this past week. The quartet of spacecrafts will travel nearly halfway to the moon. They will fly in a pyramid formation to provide a 3D visual. The budget for the mission is $1 billion.
Once you post something on the internet, it's always there.
That's right, by one East Bay High School sophomore and budding journalist exposed an online database exploiting underage girls and got to take it down. The State of Events' Sherae Honeycutt spoke with the young woman and why she thinks there's more that needs to be done.
It just wasn't fair and no one was doing anything about it.
Sophia Ruiz is 15 years old and just a sophomore at Miramonte High School in Orinda. In January, she made a bold move to expose an online database sharing naked photos of young women and underage girls. She wrote an article for her school's online newspaper entitled La Miranda Nudes Dropbox Must Come Down, and thanks to her article, it did.
This is Dropbox. The site allows users to share information through the cloud. As long as you have the account's information, you can share, view, and download the files with anyone, which means the reach of these photos is endless.
The name of the Dropbox site was called Like Playing Cards, where local police say teenage boys were collecting and sharing the images.
It was just so awful. Like, we're not as good as other people, or we can just be treated like that and no one's going to do anything about it.
Ruiz says some were photos sent to the boys and some were taken by the boys themselves. 2 girls were identified as Moraga residents but chose not to press charges. Orinda police say the photos are now in the hands of the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They want to make sure that the photos can't be tied to any of their cases. Sophia says taking down this site is just part of a bigger issue.
And that's not okay, and that's something that needs to change because it's not just our community, it's all over the world. Women are objectified and seen as inferior, and people think they can do this without repercussions, and it's not okay.
In Orinda, Sherae Honeycutt for State of Events.
Next on State of Events, one beloved local business is struggling.
And there may be later bus time soon.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
I want to talk to you about Fair Trade Certified Coffee. Fair Trade Certified Coffee guarantees that you get the highest quality gourmet coffee beans you've grown to love. But better yet, it ensures that family farmers all over the world who grow Fair Trade coffee get a fair deal for their hard work. So the next time you go to buy coffee, look for the Fair Trade label, because a little change makes a lot of sense. Look for the label wherever you buy coffee.
When it's time to choose healthcare for your child, you want the best. When it's time for an important medical decision, you want a professional you can trust. At Valencia Health Services, your time is well spent. We provide professional quality healthcare. Valencia Health Services, dedicating quality time to every child, every visit. Committed to professional healthcare because your child's health is our first priority. Valencia Health Services, quality time because we care.
Welcome back to State of Events. The San Francisco minimum wage hike is affecting many small businesses in the city. Michelle Quintero talked to a local business that is directly impacted by the increase. Michelle?
That's right, Sepana. Borderland Books has been in business for 18 years and has attracted book lovers from all over the city. Books like these are what keep them coming back. But these readers had to recently face the challenge of keeping their beloved bookstore open. Borderland's bookstore is one of many small businesses in San Francisco's Mission District. It has attracted book lovers with its variety of science fiction, fantasy, and supernatural books. But the bookstore recently announced it might close due to financial struggles.
There's been a lot of pressure on booksellers, and originally it was the chain stores like Borders and Barnes & Noble, and then it was Amazon. And of course there are rising rent problems in San Francisco. But in our case, our leases are quite solid and manageable. And we've managed to operate, you know, with the competition from Amazon for years. So really the thing that prompted this decision was the minimum wage increase.
The San Francisco minimum wage will increase to $15 by 2018, and bookstores like Borderlands will have a hard time paying their employees while keeping book prices the same. Although increasing minimum wages are what prompted this bookstore to close, Alan Bates wants to stress that he is not against the hike.
I'm not opposed to the idea of minimum wage increasing, and I actually think at a national level minimum wage is really important. But I think that this increase was ill-considered.
Borderlands Bookstore initially planned to close by March 31st, but thanks to 300 sponsors who have supported the business, Borderlands will stay open for another year. Now readers can keep enjoying their treasured bookstore for the year to come. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Quintero, State of Events.
10-year tenant Miss Follingstad in San Francisco was surprised to find that her rent was quadrupled. Even though her apartment was protected by rent control, she saw the price jump from about $2,100 to $8,900. The landlord did this by turning the lower unit into storage, converting the multi-unit property into a single home occupancy, which are not protected by rent control. Ms. Follingstad is looking to fight it out in court, hoping that at the very least she can recover her $1,400 deposit.
People in the Bay Area rely on public transportation all the time. During the late night hours, though, many of them find themselves waiting a long time for buses. There is a new plan that wants to fix this. Many systems are trying to make better public transportation at night. This includes BART, which hopes to run 24 hours. Public officials want this to happen as soon as possible.
Earlier this week, a man threatened to jump off the Antioch Bridge for the second time in a month. Before threatening to jump, police were chasing the man, reaching speeds of 80 miles per hour. The suspect led police to Highway 160. He stopped on the Antioch Bridge and climbed over the railing. After negotiating with the suspect, CHP officers convinced him to climb back onto the bridge, where they were able to grab the man. Authorities took the man to the hospital for evaluation. He was then transferred to the Contra Costa County Jail. Last month, the same man threatened to jump off the Antioch Bridge after officers responded to a 911 call.
A few months ago, Napa, California was rattled into a state of emergency by a 6.1 earthquake. A new study shows that California is likely to see a 6.7 quake or higher in the next 30 years. Earthquake activity has been low in the past century, but scientists from the U.S. Geology Survey say that this is creating a tension in the fault lines. The San Andreas Fault is causing the highest concern from the lack of activity. Being prepared in an emergency is key. For preparation and safety tips, visit ready.gov.
Coming up next, some students' favorite fast food chain could be on campus soon.
And everyone knows about Chinese New Year, but last week marked a New Year celebration for a different culture.
The American Cancer Society Discovery Shops are a chain of unique retail stores that help fight cancer.
I shop here because it helps save lives.
Their proceeds have helped fund over 40 Nobel Prize winners.
I don't just shop here for the designer clothing. I shop here because it gets me involved.
You can find everything from clothing and jewelry to furniture and collectibles.
I shop here because it matters.
And for the great deals.
Much has been done, but we still need to do more. Discover for yourself. Discovery Shops.
What if we could make a difference with every cup of coffee we drink? With Fairtrade certified coffee, we can. Look for this label where you buy your coffee.
Energy costs for small businesses rose over 40% in 2001. Stop wasting your money. Let the Smart Lights program help you. Call us today at 510-981-8955 or visit our website at smartlights.org. Smart Lights, brighten your bottom line.
Welcome back to State of Events. The potential of a new food vendor on campus caused some controversy. Reporter Oscar Maciel explains why some people are not too happy. Oscar?
Thanks, Xavier. Well, the debate is about who gets to sell food on campus, but the question has become about who knows what's best for the campus and the students. Is it the campus or is it the students?
Asia Express is one of the many food vendors at San Francisco State University. In October of 2013, the owners, the Meng family, expressed a desire to end their stay, paving the way for a national chain to move in. But representatives of the Associated Students would like to explore healthier alternatives.
We feel that it's important to open it up and to see what other vendors are out there that maybe fall a little bit more in line with the goals of the university and sustainability.
One of those sustainability goals, set by the CSU, is to offer 20% real food by the year 2020. University Corporation manages the school's vendors. Director Jason Porth agrees sustainability is important, but says there's more to consider.
We think that there are a lot of factors to look at and that we can't just be focused on one. But among the factors we need to look at is what's going to bring in revenue to support student programming. And so we believe we have to look at a host of alternatives and then balance a lot of different competing interests and reach the best possible outcome for the student community as well as the entire campus community.
Associated Students hope that means a healthy serving of student involvement.
We think it's really important that there be a lot of student input on how our building gets used and how vendors get chosen.
And according to Mr. Porth, student input is a key ingredient.
But certainly, we're very eager to ensure a very strong student voice in determining what ends up on campus.
Mr. Porth says Panda Express is just one of the candidates. Nothing is set in stone yet. In fact, during my report, a committee was formed with members of the Associated Students and UCorp, so there's hope for a resolution yet. In San Francisco, Oscar Maciel, State of Events.
Thank you, Oscar. An overweight dog has lost the pounds after going on a diet. Dennis is a dachshund who has become a hit on the web. Dennis used to weigh 56 pounds. That's about 4 or 5 dachshund dogs combined. His previous owners only fed him White Castle burgers. His new owner put him on a diet and walked him often. He now weighs 12 pounds.
After voters failed to pass the soda tax last fall, city supervisors are taking new approaches. Legislatures are reproposing a law to add warning labels to advertisements for soda and other sugary drinks. The proposal would need the board's approval and mayor's signature. If passed, it will make San Francisco the first city to require warning on labels on soda.
The National United Steelworkers strike in the East Bay may end. Tesoro, a refinery in Martinez, has been put to a halt by local Union 5. According to the union officials, workers are mainly having issues with the safety conditions. Local 5 and Tesoro's management team have met up to talk out the problems. Both the refinery and the workers are now working out the last details of the agreement.
A sanctuary for wildlife in Point Reyes Wildlife will be expanded. The Federal Register announced that it will double in size. Upwelling in the zone is the reason for the expansion. The sanctuary houses more than 61 endangered species and more than 250 breeding seabirds. The sanctuary has proven to support wildlife and is supported by the government.
Over the weekend, the Aztec community in the Bay Area embraced the customs of their ancestors during a ceremony in San Jose. Reporter Viviana Cruz is live in the newsroom with more. Viviana?
Thank you, Sabina. March 12 marks the beginning of the new year in the Aztec calendar. With the date comes a 2-day ceremony in San Jose where native dancers move to the beat of the drum to welcome the new year.
Performers of all ages wore bright feathered headdresses as they danced in the vast green lawn in San Jose. According to the Aztecs, every song represents a different dance for each god. Aztec New Year, or as the natives call it, Mexica, is not strictly limited to Aztec performers. Oaxacan dancers also made their way to the center of the circle. The free event had something for everyone to enjoy, from children's activities to cultural workshops, as well as plenty of artisan stands and food vendors.
of people gathered here today at Emma Prush Park in San Jose to celebrate Mexica New Year. A lot of these people traveled from all over California to make sure they wouldn't miss out on today's festivities.
Alejandro Juarez is one of the many dancers that didn't mind making the long trip from LA.
Although it's still in the same state, I feel that, its energy and how they work here is very different. And I like coming up here. It's a completely different atmosphere, different people.
But loving the Bay is not the only reason Alejandro came up to dance this weekend. For him, it's about keeping his father's legacy alive.
My father's philosophy was, you should never pay to learn your culture.
He shares with me why Hummingbird is his favorite dance to perform.
Thinking about hummingbirds reminds me of my father, it reminds me. Whenever I dance the dance, I feel like he's dancing right next to me, his spirit's there with me. I love Danza Azteca. I can't think of my life how it would be without it. Finally, it keeps growing, and I hope to make it grow more.
Alejandro hopes that one day his future children can also appreciate the beauty of la danza.
The event is expected to take place in Emma Prush Park again next year, but we expect more people to come through. In San Francisco, Viviana Cruz, State of Events.
In response to International Women's Day, San Francisco celebrated this entire week. Roxy Theater in the Mission District is hosting screenings of She's Beautiful When She's Angry, a documentary about women's rights directed by Mary Dower. It focuses on the modern women's movement from the late 60s. There are only 2 showings left, tonight and tomorrow. Both start at 7 p.m.
There's a lot happening with sports this week.
Yes, and there were the St. Patrick's Day festivities going on all week. That's next.
My life is out of control. I have no job, no health insurance, no support. I'm pregnant. I don't know how to handle all of this, but there's one thing I can do. Take care of this. It won't solve all my problems, but at least it'll make a difference. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Prenatal care makes a difference. 1-800-300-9950.
We shop at the American Cancer Society Discovery Shops for
designer clothes, household items, and quality collectibles.
I volunteer at the American Cancer Society Discovery Shops to benefit a cure for cancer.
We donate to Discovery Shops where profits go towards cancer research, education, and patient services. Discover your shop.
Discover a cure. Discovery Shops.
Small businesses are facing expensive energy bills. Much of this expense is generated from lighting. In fact, inefficient lighting can cost small business owners more than they may realize. Don't let your lights burn more than electricity. Let smart lights help you save money, and let the money work for you, not your energy bills. Smart lights, brighten your bottom line. A joint program of the cities of Berkeley and Oakland.
Welcome back to State of Events. I'm John Wilson for sports. Now, last week we gave you an inside look at the senior night for SF State's basketball teams, and as it turns out, 3 of those Gator seniors were named to the California Collegiate Athletic Association's all-conference teams. Udin Asakwe earned first-team honors after leading the men's team in points per game and total rebounds. Brent Haley and Michelle Sutton, meanwhile, received honorable mentions. Haley led the CCAA with 5 assists per game, and Sutton led the women's team in scoring. Now, transitioning over to the Diamond, this year's softball team is making some big strides, and one Lady Gator in particular is making all the difference. Our Shelby Nelson has the scoop.
Thanks, John. Now, I did get a chance to meet up with Marissa Andrade, and there is no question that she is definitely making an impact to this team. She's a softball fanatic who is taking this season to a whole new level. Marissa Andrade is now playing her 3rd year as part of the women's softball team at San Francisco State University, and becoming an upperclassman now requires some more responsibility.
I think I'm the type of person to lead by example, I guess, so I don't really verbally tell people what to do. I'm more like, this is how it should look, and I just hope that a lot of the younger players see that, and I do see that they work really hard, and I personally respect them for that.
And being a leader may very well just come natural for her. As a junior, Marissa was just recognized as Player of the Week. The second baseman earned 6 RBIs and hit 7 doubles in just one weekend.
I know that there's like other sports that are going on right now, and to be recognized as one out of the many was really cool.
Marissa was Player of the Week from March 1st to the 7th. For that weekend, the Gator women faced off with Chico State for a 4-game weekend tournament. The results were an even 2 losses and 2 wins. As for Marissa and her personal success, the humble player accounts much of it to her teammates as well.
It wasn't just me, it was more like a collective effort. We strung hits together. In fact, everyone that weekend was hitting really well, and it just worked out to where everyone was at the right place at the right time.
The Gator women are 5-17. Despite a losing record, they have until the end of April to turn it around. In San Francisco, I'm Shelby Nelson, Gator Sports Net. This weekend, the women's softball team is heading into a 3-game tournament against Cal State San Bernardino. Now, all 3 games are here, and the Lady Gators' current home record stands at 3-11. In San Francisco, I'm Shelby Nelson. Back to you in the studio.
Now, sticking with SF State sports, there's a new man on campus. Charles Guthrie recently took over as the school's athletic director, and he's ready to step things up. Jenna Berkman has more on the guy going to bat for Gator sports.
New SF State athletic director Charles Guthrie has Gator sports on the rise in his first year. He comes from Clark College in Vancouver, Washington, and under his leadership, 10 of 11 sports programs made postseason appearances during the 2013-14 season. With Guthrie's past success, he hopes to elevate the Gator program to the next level of competitiveness.
San Francisco State can sell itself, and you just need to have the right folks on the bus, and if the bus breaks down, they're willing to push the bus. And if you make sure you minimize the folks outside the bus slashing the tires, I think you can go far.
Guthrie will take charge of a program that has more than 250 athletes. He wants to reestablish the athletics and once again become a premier Division II program. Guthrie lives, sleeps, and breathes sports. And even though he's only been on the job for 7 months, he already feels like he's been here a few years. Athletics is his passion, and it's what he's all about.
I think about how can I improve San Francisco State athletics every day. I keep my iPhone on the side of my bed at night, thinking of ideas of how we can improve the place. So it's really exciting.
Softball player Marissa Andrade says she has already noticed improvements in the sports here at San Francisco State.
A lot of the coaches and stuff were saying how he was definitely like a go-getter, and he definitely had a plan, and he came from a pretty successful athletic department in the past, and he was really hoping to bring that success here. And I think he's definitely moving us forward.
Guthrie plans to only continue the improvements he's made to the athletic department, upgrading facilities on campus, focusing on academics, and increasing school spirit are some of his priorities. Reporting in San Francisco, I'm Jenna Berkman, State of Events.
Now, last week, Patrick Willis surprised 49ers fans by announcing his early retirement. And on Monday, his replacement followed in his footsteps. 49ers linebacker Chris Borland told ESPN that he was retiring after only 1 season in the NFL. Borland said he's leaving the game because of concerns about the long-term effects of head trauma. As a rookie, Borland led the 49ers in tackles last season. 49ers GM Trent Baalke said the announcement was unexpected, but the team respects Borland's decision. Baalke also added, quote, "From speaking with Chris, it was evident that he had put a great deal of thought into this decision. He was a consummate professional from day one and a very well-respected member of the team and community," unquote. That's all for sports this week. I'm John Wilson.
Well, that's it for State of Events this week.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.